Welcome to Inside the College. I'm Dr. Maggie McMenamin, president of Union County College. We have a special show for you today, and one of the reasons why it's so special is we're moving out of the Cranford studio and into our Elizabeth campus. We are in the Lesner building of our Elizabeth campus in the wonderful city of Elizabeth, and we're joined for the intro by the dean of our Elizabeth campus, Dr. Lester Sandres Rapolo. Welcome, Dr. Rapolo.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate the welcome onto your campus and this beautiful building here.
It's gorgeous. It's so beautiful, and thank you for your help and your support and leadership.
Well, we appreciate the work that you're doing here in Elizabeth, and I know you've been in this role for just under a year. Correct. So how are you enjoying your work as dean of the campus?
I love it. I love the student body population. It's very diverse. The institute, we change life.
Which institute?
The English Institute. Yes, we have a strong ESL program. Students from all walk of life. We represent more than 66 languages in that division alone. So that speaks highly of the breadth of the diversity that we have.
So it sounds like you're proud of the diversity of this campus.
Very proud of the diversity, the human capital that we have, our wonderful faculty members, and everyone that works at the campus. So very excited. Today,
our show Inside the College is all about the great city of Elizabeth. We'll be right back after these messages.
Union County College, transforming our community one student at a time.
Union County College, transforming our community one student at a time.
Welcome to Inside the College. I'm Dr. Maggie McMenamin, president of Union County College. For this episode, we have a special guest today in a special location. We're located at the Lesner building in the Elizabeth campus of Union County College, and we're joined by the Honorable Mayor of Elizabeth, J. Christian Bollwage. Welcome, Mayor Bollwage.
Thank you for having me, Doctor. I appreciate it.
It's great to have you here, and I always tell people that you're my favorite mayor.
Now you're going to blow it. Look at the mayor of Cranford and others. They're not going to be happy with that.
I know they're going to be watching this show and thinking that I'm cheating on them, but we're delighted to have you here, and we do admire the work that you're doing. So before we get started talking about your role as mayor and the exciting things happening in the city, we want to learn a little bit about Mayor Bollwage. And where'd you come from? Where were you born?
Well, I grew up in Elizabeth. I was born in, my parents lived on Bellevue Street, which is over near the Elmora section and the ShopRite in that area. And then they bought a house on North Avenue, so I went to grammar school in Blessed Sacrament, and then high school in St. Mary's. I have an undergraduate degree in economics and a master's from Kane University.
How did you choose Kane when you were?
Well, it was close and it was affordable. Nobody in our school, nobody in our house ever went to college. My father was a letter carrier, my mom a stay-at-home mom. So going to college for the first time was like, where do you go? Well, this one's close. Let's go there, and it was reasonable.
So you were a commuter to Kane University?
Oh, absolutely. I didn't room anywhere. My daughter's going to get to that experience of going away to college, but I didn't.
What did you major in at Kane?
So my undergraduate degree is in economics, and then after I finished that, I got elected to the city council, and I kind of liked government, so I went back to school and received a master's degree in public administration. So I have an MPA.
When you were in high school, did you think at that time you wanted to be the mayor, or did you think about politics and elected office, or did you have a different idea of your future?
No, I thought about being a bartender. That's what I was in high school. I was a bartender in the local neighborhood bar, and then I tended bar for private parties. I tended bar at the Westwood and Garwood. I tended bar down the Jersey Shore. So I had no interest in politics. I didn't know what it was. And then I got involved in Ray Lesniak's campaign for mayor. And Ray Lesniak lost that election. And I thought, this is a great thing to do. I kind of liked the camaraderie. 2 years before that, I ran for the local Democratic committee seat that became vacant. And I won that election for the local Democratic committee. And then Ray Lesniak's campaign for mayor, which he lost to Tom Dunn in 1980. But I was a hired hand and volunteered, enjoyed it. And then ran for city council in 1982 in a 5-way race, and I was successful in that 82 election.
So then your first bid for elected office, you won.
In 1982, the city council in the 5th ward, which is the north end part of the city, It's the Newark Airport, borders that region in North Avenue, Blessed Sacrament, Sacred Heart area, the old Sacred Heart, now Our Lady of Fatima, Lafayette School, School 16, all in that area is the area I represented. And the reason I got to meet a lot of people is I was president of the Little League. It was the North Elizabeth Youth Baseball League. I was a coach and an umpire. I was a manager. And then I became the president. So I ran the Little League with 300, 400 kids. And the funny thing about it to this day is I'll go to places and people will say, you know, you called me out one day sliding into third base.
They still remember.
They still remember
35 years later. Good, good, good. Now, how did you choose economics? So many of our students at Union County College are debating, what should I major in? How did you pick your major?
Well, I was not a good writer, still not a good writer. So today, when I need something written, I have a great staff. Susan McCune and others can write for me. So I was not a good writer, but I liked math, but I also, Calculus 3 and Calculus 4, I couldn't do. I did Calc 1 and Calc 2, and I said, maybe I'll
impressive.
Major, I know, maybe I'll major in math. But then I did Calc 3, and I'm like, this doing derivatives in 5 and 6 dimensions and 4 dimensions was not my style. No, but so I had a good math background, and I decided, well, with that background, and economics and supply and demand and macro and microeconomics, why don't I major in that? You didn't have to write a lot of papers.
Right.
You had to understand supply and demand and equilibriums. So I did that and majored in economics.
Did majoring in economics help you in your role now as mayor?
Well, clearly it's a beneficial area of study. And the reason I say that is people focus on business and MBAs. Economics kind of gives you a broader perspective. Not only do you study the macro side, which is the entire general economy, but you study the micro side, which will be a couple of businesses, small businesses, big businesses, and study how they run their opportunities or their economic viability for the company.
So any Union County College students out there who are thinking about what they should major in, economics sounds like a good major for students who may be pretty good in math, but have more of an interest in the business side.
Exactly, and I told my daughter, who's now starting and going to go to the University of Tampa, I said to her, take an economics course. She did. She took an economics course at Kent University. She actually likes it. So I don't know whether she goes in that direction, but she thanked me for encouraging her to take an economics course.
Now the MPA, where did you get the MPA from?
Kent University started a sanctioned program, or an accredited program in the 1980s. I was one of the first students. I was in the second class. And I always kid the professors over there, Dr. Dawood Farahi, I say, the only reason I got into the MPA program was you were looking for students. So I was one of those people I got, as a city council member, I was able to get into the program. And I graduated at a 3.7, 3.69. So I really paid attention to the MPA more than I did the economics because it was an interest of study. One of the things I can always tell college students is to enter a field of study that you enjoy. That may evolve over time and you may not like it right away, but if you study what you enjoy, college becomes a lot easier.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. So you were initially a city councilman, and when did you run for mayor?
Well, in 1992, I sought the office of mayor. The current mayor at the time was a gentleman named Tom Dunn, and he was there for 28 years at that time. And we thought it was time for a change. There were people going in a direction that we thought the city could move in a better direction. We missed the economic development activities in the 1980s. During the 1980s, Jersey City and other cities were really growing and maturing and developing their communities. We did not. We were stagnant in the 1980s. So I ran a campaign in 1992 that said, you know, it's Elizabeth's turn. We need to be focused and understand the next economic opportunity, the next economic upturn in the cycle, and Elizabeth has to be a part of that.
That message resonated with Elizabeth residents?
It did. It got me elected, number one. And number two, we took advantage of the next economic cycle by building the Jersey Gardens Mall, by converting public housing in a Hope 6 program to changing the face not only of the public housing, but changing the lives of the people who live there. So the 1990s in Elizabeth set a precedent for the city of Elizabeth to grow in the next century.
Okay, now you've been re-elected how many times as mayor?
I'm currently in my 7th term.
7th term as mayor.
Preparing to run in 2020 for my 8th term, which will be an interesting, you know, I'm at the stage of my life, Doctor, that, you know, win or lose, I'm prepared for either one. It doesn't scare me, you know, so I've had a lot of fun. I've grown up in this town. I get to be the mayor of the 4th largest city. I can play up with the big boys, or I can play down, or I can play just where I am, being the fourth largest city mayor.
Lifelong Elizabeth resident, former member of the City Council, graduate of Kean University, and 7-term mayor of the city. It's an impressive resume for anybody.
Well, it's been fun too, and I think, you know, one of the things is you show up every day. And if you show up to work every day and you show up and you talk with people, the best information I get is from people. And then we try to implement, even here today, walking through Union County College, one of the students gave me an idea for next Christmas. We're going to try to implement that.
Wonderful, wonderful. The first time I came to the city of Elizabeth was in the spring of 2010 when I decided to scope out Union County College as I was applying for the presidency. And as I drove into the city of Elizabeth, I was impressed with the development, with the stores, with the shops, all kinds of people and foot traffic. It was so alive.
You know, when we built the Jersey Gardens Mall in the 1990s, my detractors and opponents said that you're going to kill Broad Street and Elizabeth Avenue. And I said, no, the purpose of the Jersey Gardens Mall is to attract visitors and attract people from outside the city. Jersey Gardens Mall has somewhere around 50, 70, 80, 90 countries. On any given day, people are in there shopping. A 2 million square foot mall with over 200 stores. And if you look on Broad Street and Elizabeth Avenue, the occupancy rate is well above 95%. So clearly, the city of Elizabeth has become a destination point. So the focus for the next 50 years is going to be tourism and the opportunity to bring more people here to share in the diversity of our community.
Well, between the tremendous shopping opportunities at the Jersey Gardens Mall, which we love Jersey Gardens, and the thriving downtown, Elizabeth certainly is a wonderful destination, and we love it here at Union County College.
Well, because of the partnership that Jersey Gardens and the City of Elizabeth has with Union County College, we have the opportunity to train many students from Union County College to get jobs in retail. It's because of the Retail Skills Center and the one-stop that Union County College has merged with the City of Elizabeth and the County Freeholder Board. And if it wasn't for your leadership, maybe that wouldn't have happened.
Well,
and therefore, we get more people. You have the trades in the van in the back of the
Right.
Lesnar building where people learn a trade. So Union County College has been a great partner for the City of Elizabeth in training young people, not only educationally, but in the trades and economically for their future.
Well, we understand it's all about the economy, and it's jobs, 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 and the economic development here is impressive. But tell us about the future. What's coming next in Elizabeth?
Well, one of the things we've been working real hard on, and finally under the Murphy administration, the train station is moving forward. And we have had meetings over the last 6 months, and the design study is being ready. We look like we're going to break ground sometime at the end of 2019 with a 2.5 to 3 year build out. So we're going to have a new train station. The Midtown development across from the Kellogg building, they're supposed to break ground in February.
That's Lot D?
That's Lot D, as you know it as.
Yeah.
I get confused sometimes in Lot D. The building behind the Kellogg building is now going up with an 80-unit structure, and there are going to be residential units there come the end of 2019.
We've been asked a lot about that building. I've been asked, is that related to the courts? But that's private development there,
That's going to be a
residential?
private market rate housing with amenities in there, with conference rooms.
With mixed
Wi-Fi.
use, will there be any retail
There's
on
going
the
to be
first?
some retail on the first floor. And then the other building, and plus there's going to be open space on Parcel D along the Elizabeth River. We want to continue the Elizabeth River Trail, which runs in the heart of the town. We're looking to extend it over the Goethals Bridge, but we also want to run it past the Kellogg building into Midtown and eventually to up the Elizabeth River to Hillside.
I've been lobbying for almost 9 years now for a soccer stadium in Elizabeth. Do you see any of that on the horizon out there?
I'd love to build a hot soccer stadium. We just don't have the land for it. But we did build the
unfortunate.
Todd Bowles field.
We love
named after
Todd
the Jet
Bowles,
Coach.
Elizabeth's finest.
So he's a
Jets,
product
Jets,
of Elizabeth.
Jets.
And we built the field. We have a soccer field there and a football field. So that has access, but mostly for younger people than the college level people.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor Bollwage, for joining us this morning on this segment of Inside the College. We admire your leadership. We love the city of Elizabeth, and we look forward to future partnerships with
Dr.
you and the
McMenamin, I
city.
thank you for the partnership with Union County College. You help make it work for young people in our city get choices for their economic opportunities in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our guest for this segment of the show has been J. Christian Bollwage, the mayor of the great city of Elizabeth. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Inside the College. I'm Dr. Maggie McMenamin, president of Union County College. My guest for our special show this afternoon is Mr. M.Richel. He is the chairman of the board of Union County College. Welcome, Mr. Richel.
It's great to be here again.
Thank you for coming in. Now today's show is being filmed in the Lesner building of Union County College on our Elizabeth campus. And I know that you're from Elizabeth, so can you tell us a little bit about you?
Well, sure. I grew up in Elizabeth, as did my wife, Andrea.
Did you go to Elizabeth High School?
I went to which was then known as Thomas Jefferson High School. The boys went to Jefferson and the girls went to Batten High School. And then a number of years ago, Elizabeth High was created out of those two schools. So I went to Jefferson. Andrea,
both you and your wife are from Elizabeth?
Both of us, as were our families. And our parents, all four of our parents went to school in Elizabeth. So our history is Elizabeth.
From way back?
Way back.
So where did you go to college?
I went to Villanova, and after Villanova I did some graduate work at Harvard, and without a degree, but went there
How'd you pick Villanova?
a couple of times.
Our kids always want to know, how they get to where they are.
Interesting story. I was trying to decide between William and Mary, Rutgers.
That's in Virginia, isn't it?
Yes,
William and Mary?
Cornell, and Villanova. And the then mayor of Elizabeth was Nicholas St. John LaCourte. And in fact, his son, Jim LaCourte, is the registrar here.
Yeah, the surrogate.
The surrogate.
Yeah.
He was a Villanova graduate, and he was a friend of my father's. He suggested to my father that Villanova would be a great place for me to go. I'd already been accepted. We went down, visited it, sold me.
Was it love at first sight when you went to Villanova?
Felt absolutely.
What'd you major in there?
Business administration and engineering. It was a combination of two courses.
So what were you thinking? When you were in high school, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a doctor. And the reason that I didn't become a doctor was my grandfather died of a long, difficult disease, and I wasn't mature enough really at that age to understand the feelings that I was having, I wouldn't have as a doctor. So I decided I don't want to be a doctor.
You didn't want to go through that with a bunch of people.
Right. So I became a businessman. As soon as I got out of college.
Was your father a businessman?
My father was vice president of Metropolitan Life Insurance.
So then you had business in your blood, so to speak.
I did. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So tell us about your career path.
Well, I came to work for Elizabethtown Gas, actually. Started
Right here in this building?
No, well, there was a building before this building on this site,
Okay.
which was then known as 16 West Jersey. And we built this building in 1965.
Elizabethtown Gas.
Elizabethtown Gas. And I was with Elizabethtown Gas for 32 years, during which time I was also on the board of a number of banks, one of which was Statewide. Statewide Savings Bank.
Okay.
And in 1995, Statewide asked me to become chairman of the board, president, and CEO. So I took early retirement from Elizabethtown, became president and chairman of Statewide, and we grew.
That was in 95?
That was in 95.
Okay. So you were already affiliated with the college at that point when you switched to Statewide from E-Town?
Yes, I became affiliated with the college in 1982.
While you were still
at Elizabethtown. I was executive vice president of Elizabeth.
And what was, in 1982, you came onto the board?
I came onto the board at, actually, my very first board meeting was the meeting that the Union County College Board of Governors actually voted to merge with the then Union County Vocational and Technical Institute to create Union County Community College.
It's remarkable, remarkable.
Isn't that
So
correct?
your very first board meeting was the vote on the merger.
That's correct. Yep. And it was just
1982.
1982. It was a great, great ride. It was a lot of fun.
So you served on the board from as an Elizabethtown gas representative on the board from 82 to 95, and then you made the jump to
Statewide Savings.
So tell us more about that, your role at Statewide.
Well, I was president, chairman, and CEO. We took the company public in 96,
A year later.
A year later, which meant that we raised about $100 million in new equity, grew the company significantly, and in 2000 merged it into Independence Community Bank in Brooklyn. I became vice chairman of the board of Independence and stayed there till 2006 when Independence merged into Sovereign.
Into Sovereign. And now Sovereign is now Fleet Bank or
Santander.
Santander, okay.
As you understand, the banking business
I can't keep track.
is evolving as we speak.
I can't keep track.
Yeah.
I struggle trying to keep track, but
And now I'm chairman of a new bank called McMenamin Savings Bank, and we are merging into Manasquan Bank, which is located in Manasquan, New Jersey.
So you continue your work in the banking industry.
I do. Yeah.
So tell us how you evolved from a member of the Board of Governors at that historical meeting in 1982, the vote for the merger, it's a great story, to being chairman of the Board of Trustees.
Well, I was involved in a number of the committees on the board, as you know, and over the course of time, other members of the board asked me to become a leader and to move into the steps. I was most influenced by Sid Lesner,
whom this building is named.
This building is named. In fact, I was honored to announce the naming of this building in honor of Sid. Sid Lesner was the first chairman of the board of Union County College. He was a great leader, a great humanitarian, a wonderful guy. And he was sort of a mentor of mine.
I know his wife, Midge,
Yep.
and his sons. Rick Lesner's on our foundation board, but
And Bob.
I've heard great things about
It's a wonderful,
Sid Lesner.
It's a wonderful family, and Sid was just a superb guy. So Sid kept sponsoring me to become chairman. Eventually, I was elected chairman, and I've been very happy to help in any way I can.
Well, Union County College is certainly the beneficiary of your leadership, but I know we're not the only ones. That you're not just active on the Union County College Board and on the Metuchen Bank Board, but you're also a leader on the Trinitas Regional Medical Center Board.
Yes, we have a unique circumstance. Trinitas is sponsored by the Sisters of Charity and co-sponsored by the Elizabethtown Healthcare Foundation. And each of the two organizations put forth a chair and a vice chair. Currently, Sister Rosemary Monahan is the chair of Trinitas.
From the Sisters of
From
Charity.
the Sisters of Charity, and I'm the vice chair. And every 2 years, we switch seats.
Rotate.
So in January of 2000, I will become
2020 or 2019?
No, January of 2020.
2020.
I will become chairman, and Sister will become vice chairman.
And you were chair the previous 2 years.
Yeah. So I've been chair. I guess I've had 5 terms as chair there.
Well, that means that leader on the Metuchen Bank Board, leader on the Union County College Board, leader on the Trinitas Regional Medical Center Board. That sounds like a full plate to me. I know you also have a family foundation that you run.
I do. Andrea and I created the M.Richel Family Foundation, and we've been very happy to support education and healthcare and other things throughout the community for almost 20 years.
Well, what's next for M.Richel? What's next?
Well, I'm going to become vice chairman. I am vice chairman of the Manasquan Bank Board.
Oh, I forgot the Manasquan Bank Board.
Right,
So that's
and that's
fourth
going to
one.
grow because Metuchen will, by May of 2019, Metuchen will be fully merged into Manasquan. So I will no longer then be chairman of Metuchen, but will be vice chair of Manasquan. And I'll continue to do that. I hope to be able to continue my work with both the college and the hospital for a while longer.
Now, a lot of folks, when they get to, let's say, retirement age, flee Union County, New Jersey, and head down south. A lot of my friends going to Delaware and the Carolinas and Florida especially.
Yep.
We have a lot of snowbirds. Are
Yep.
you and Andrea snowbirds?
No, we're not. Our roots are here. Our 3 children, our 3 in-law children, and our 8 grandchildren are all here. So I would need a derrick to get Andrea out of Berkeley Heights.
Tell us, when we get back to the professional side, what are the biggest challenges that you face in terms of all that community service that you do? What are the challenges? What are the...
Well, I think trying to find people to help us on our various boards who have a tremendous commitment to community and service.
Do you think there's less of that civic engagement, community engagement than there was in the past?
Unfortunately, I do. I think that the people who are committed are fully committed and as committed as they were in the past.
As ever.
I think there's fewer people willing to make the commitment. I've got to say, Dr. McMenamin, that I've done this a long time. And people always say to me, Vic, you give so much of your time.
You do.
I must tell you, I gain more than I give.
Well, I was going to ask you, why do you do what you do?
Because the feeling of helping someone and knowing that whatever you did, whether it was a decision or a donation or guidance, has helped somebody else, is the greatest achievement you can have.
Sounds like the Baltimore Catechism, to know him,
It
to
does.
love him, and to serve him in this world.
Yep.
Vic, thank you for your service, not just to Union County College, but to our entire community. You've made a difference to our kids and to our neighbors.
Thank you, Dr. McMenamin, and I would like to say to you and your viewers, you do a spectacular job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My guest for this segment of the show has been a terrific community leader, a philanthropist, a successful businessman, and a great friend, the chairman of the Union County College Board of Trustees, Mr. Victor M.Richel. We'll be right back after these messages. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Inside the College. We've had a special episode today because we moved out of Cranford and we moved into the Lessner building of the Elizabeth campus of Union County College, the beautiful Sidney Lessner building in the great city of Elizabeth. We were hosted today by the Dean of the Elizabeth campus, Dr. Lester Roppolo, and we had the Mayor of Elizabeth, J. Christian Bollwage, an Elizabeth native, and the chairman of the Union County Board of Trustees, Mr. Victor M.Richel, who's also an Elizabeth native. So today's show, all about Elizabeth. We're thrilled to be here, and we invite you to visit the city of Elizabeth and all that it has to offer. Thanks so much. I'm Dr. Maggie McMenamin. I'll see you next month on Inside the College.